Right.
freaking...
This voice here, this is SSNTails.
Hello, I'm Johnny. I was once known as Sonikku, and I'm sorry
I am
for everything.
I am Spazzo.
I'm Nick. I'm the guy who made this mess that you see in front of your eyes right now tonight. A group of people as well. You know, it's not just me. So, you ready to start this out?
Okay.
Little more substantive. Okay, I love that.
And he walks up.
I think I've seen it on Twitter, but it's still wonderful. Oh my, look at these splash screens.
I think this might be a Bethesda title.
Hey, AJ, click Sonic. Try clicking Sonic. Click
I just tried to click Sonic.
Here.
AJ, what did you do?
I got him!
You got
I told you it was a Bethesda title.
This is an absolutely jamming track.
Okay, let's get started.
Let's get started. This is Act 1, the Knothole Coast Zone. Ooh, changed things up. Yeah, we changed it up because we have a whole plot for this. You see right here, we got an island for the game and all that.
And there's a helpful sign pointing you straight towards what looks like Robotropolis?
Hi.
No, Robotropic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, these guys are cute.
Yeah, those are wakas. We call them wakas. They're it's like the previous crawlers. We nicknamed them wakas.
Did they have a name?
They were crawlers, just crawlers. But then you guys redesigned them for SRB2, so it's just like, oh, it's just call them wakas instead. So, if anything, it's very minor stuff. Oh, this is cool.
Oh, that is.
Whoa.
That is awesome.
That's when he did the goalpost there.
Did I miss half the stage just now?
Oh no, it was just you're in the top half right now.
SSN, I'm glad you have the same anxiety I do with Sonic, where you get launched like that. You're like, whoa, what have I missed? What have I missed?
Oh wait, try the move. This is the thwick.
The thwick.
It's the precursor.
The thought and the thwick.
So it doesn't really do much if you are standing still?
You have to be moving in order to do it. It's based on your momentum and your velocity.
Okay, so it's kind of like a multiplier.
Sonic Advance?
Yeah.
I mean, this is already like 10 times the number of screens there were in the original Knothole Base Zone.
So
it's all one screen.
So how do I know if I can get flung by a tree or not?
Circles. They have a circular pattern.
Okay, I'll have to look for it.
You gotta aim for them. Shoot him a few times. Watch out, he's got a little attack coming up.
Whoa.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
There he is, you got him.
This is a huge improvement from the old version, which would shoot you as you're about to jump into him and just, like, unavoidably hit you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool, I can go
and
back.
You can head back in the stage if you want to explore a bit more.
That's really cool.
Put in, access to special stage tokens and all that.
I figured I'd better...
Yeah, this is nice. Like there's a lot of times in the Sonic games where you end up going, "No, whoa, I wasn't done exploring yet."
Yeah, that was one thing that we had in mind when we were doing this. We want the player to be able to explore, move around, and such. So you can head back. You can feel free to play around for a bit.
I do love how there's nods to SRB1 development and SRB2 in this one project.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting to see the whirlwind shield.
Yeah. Oh my god! If you go to the bottom route when you play through again, we have the elemental shield in there, and it's so fun. It's a completely different take on it too, to make it feel a lot more fun in 2D.
Hey. So I guess Johnny, if you want to do a roll call, who did what, I think that might be valuable now while we're just going through the level.
Yeah, can't hurt. So I originally made SRB1 back in the terribly, horribly drawn mess back in 1997, and then it got released in '98. It took me like 9 months. It was a time. I think we can say that, can't we?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, is that a little vague homage to the secret area, the one secret area in the entire of SRB1?
That's a reference to that.
So SRB1 was a fan game made in the fairly ancient Click and Play, which was a sort of lightweight, simple game engine released back in 95, 96?
Pretty much, if you weren't a C or assembly programmer, that was your only choice.
Yeah, indeed. Which had a couple of interesting limitations, and I guess we'll come back to those in a bit because I'm interested to see, because this is still made in Click Team, which is like a very, very distant descendant of Click and Play, right?
Yeah, it's basically produced by the same company, and you can still run Click and Play titles in Click Team Fusion. You can open them up, and
gosh, that's
you can load up the original SRB1.
Yeah, I actually have modified SRB. That's how I was able to find out the secrets of the Killing Dead.
Put 180 emblems and you get to play it.
I think that's better backwards compatibility than Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's legitimately very impressive.
Yeah. I've opened up a lot of old projects, stuff by you guys, stuff that was by other people. It's fun just opening up and seeing how different it was, the understanding of what made a Sonic game back then compared to now, where you have people building frameworks now, which is what this is currently being run as Click Plus, which is something that was developed alongside this, which is really fun, the process of it.
Yeah, not even from just the programming standpoint, but also the art standpoint. I mean, there weren't a whole bunch of freeware spriting tools either, like there are now.
Yeah.
You know, it was mostly locked down proprietary stuff that mostly the big publishers only had access to. So all of us were either stuck with Microsoft Paint or, you know, other little crappy programs.
I prefer my nickname Microsoft Pain.
Microsoft Paint.
Microsoft Paint.
That's about right.
There are a few sprite artists who actually still do stuff in Paint that are in SRB, and they kill it. Some of the stuff that you see, those flowers, that was done in Paint.
That's hardcore.
Even the animation?
Wow.
Frame by frame, you know?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
That was done by Vada Pega. And Vada's also in Sonic Team Junior. Sure.
Oh no. I was going to say, I like the sort of bounce effect you get with the elemental shield in this iteration.
Yeah. The idea is that you can hold it down, you can keep bouncing. It's almost like you're a walking pinball.
So I guess if you guys want, you can talk a bit about the origins of Sonic Team Junior and maybe what led to going from SRB1 to SRB2, what engines you used. Holy cow!
Whoa, did I break it?
Oh,
it feels like you hit it with such velocity that you knocked it. Oh, bravo! I like that.
Gotta go fast.
And how?
And that should be it for this little special thing. But
wait a minute, did you get a perfect?
I think you got a perfect.
Oh, how about that?
Well done.
Thank you for playing the SRB1 demo.
There's my voice!
This pays homage to a certain demo, I take it.
Certain very specific demo.
I think SSN's got some very non-traumatic stories about animating that, don't you?
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I animated it kind of I think I used Autodesk Animator Studio for that, actually. That's what I made Pokemon Soccer and a Pocket Lapse in.
Oh, really?
And it was kind of like Click and Play in the sense when you got so many frames that the whole thing would just start crashing your project. It was good times.
We're going into 1990 Eat mode.
So this is like the original Nightmare, right? But with updated
Back to
visuals.
hell. You're going back to hell.
The sprite is
There it is.
that's the same size as the sprite, isn't it?
That's the exact same sprite.
Hey, that works.
Wow. Yeah, it's so weird to see that actually
Let's see it
working.
again.
There's
Ooh,
there's zero
a 12-year-old's
momentum.
dream.
He plays exactly like he did in '98, right down to the jump height and
And
that.
just getting hit at random.
Well, the reason we can't 100% accurately do Killing Dead because the way Killing Dead works, it was an animation bug. Oh, that happens too. It's just like the original.
You don't have to. You'd have to spin because you couldn't.
He's Knuckles.
Yeah. And
So,
yes,
Johnny, when you were first making Sonic Robo Blast, is this what you pictured it looking like?
I think, yeah, like this was the desired goal, which I was some distance away from. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, an interesting path, but it made it.
my art skills were never, ever up to the task, which is.
I got killed by the spring. What?
Whoa. Okay. I mean,
I can just hit
this
the
is pretty
wall?
intense.
Pretty intense, man.
I mean, that's how SSN got involved, really, because I don't want to take the story away from you.
I pretty much emailed you and said your graphics suck, and I'll redraw them. And you said, "What? I'm working on a sequel." And okay, let's do the sequel. And of course, 25 years later, here we are.
We've reached the era where mods of fan games are almost as popular, or even eclipse the popularity of their original fan games. With SRB2 Kart, and now with SRB1.
Yeah.
What a world.
Whoa, that's cool.
So are we going to see an SRB1 kart next?
Oh my god. Oh, we're gonna do it in mode 7?
Oh yes.
Oh, totally.
Like
I
Mario
love
Kart.
that.
Let's go.
I just can't get over seeing Sonic, SRB1 Sonic do a loop.
Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the one thing I will say as a sort of ding on the authenticity is the fact that when you hold right, you don't immediately just collapse and fall over. Which I think that was caused by. I was sitting there going, "Oh, I don't understand how it works," but it's like it's trying to load in different size sprites, so then the collision box gets altered, and Sonic just falls in on himself, and it's ridiculous.
It's actually the action points in Click Game. It's the action points in Click and Play. I think the way you mapped it, you made it where Sonic was in air, and it basically collided. It was like, oh, Sonic for some reason is in air when he's moving, so it's going to go to a jumping animation, and Sonic would fall down because the jumping animation was even higher than the walking animation.
Got to say, I think this code review would have been extremely beneficial about like 20 years ago.
I mean, this is your update. This is what you guys wanted, right? I think
It's taken a while to get there, but I'm pretty happy with this. It looks a fair bit nicer.
I'm gonna see how fast I can hit that signpost.
Oh yeah, we came up with this cool idea. It was like, oh, this was actually the reason how that happened was because of a bug at first. When we hit the signpost at a weird angle, it would just shoot it up into the sky where it could not be reached back. And so we were like, what if we made this into a feature? Of course.
At SFGHQ, the fun is all.
Is the mouth not synchronized to the voice for purposes of localization? Is that what that's for?
Yes, it's perfect. You see the Japanese text, that's intentional. It's localization.
Oh, okay.
We've got people from Dutchland, we got people from Japan, all over the world working on this game.
Nice.
That's incredible. If you don't mind me asking, how large is the team? The Airless team?
How large is the team? We got about like 20 or so people.
Holy moly. Are we good to ask like how many zones you're thinking of including? Like, are you going to have one-to-one mapping of the original zones? Are you going to sort of consolidate any of them, or would you prefer not to say at this stage?
All right. So with this, we're planning on consolidating a few zones. I've talked to you about ideas of like a few zones being merged together, and also the fact that I don't know what your infatuation was with city levels, like
Yeah.
robotic base levels, kind of back when you were a kid, but there were like 20 of them. No, there weren't.
Yeah. What did you have? You had like Metallic Mad. I don't think I called it Metallic Madness because it's like, whoa, that's a bit close to Sonic CD. I need to
I
call it
think
something.
Silicon. It was Silicon something, wasn't it?
Mechanical Mayhem, which is completely
Mechanical
different.
Mayhem. Yeah, mechanical. Mayhem.
Then Robo Base, and then Robotropolis, I think.
Yeah, I think we kind of.
I just gotta say, mad props for having an option for time over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, turn off time over if you want. Freaking
Sega hired this guy for that reason alone.
You were the first one to say that in my entire life. I might as well talk about the story while I'm at it.
Please do. Considering I think it's safe to say the original was incoherent.
So, we have a bit of the story revealed on SFGHQ, so I might as well tell a little bit. You are currently in an island of Eggman's own creation of sorts. It's more so an island that was molded into his own image. It's called Robotropic, of course. Capital city, of course, being Robotropolis. And the whole plot is Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Yes, and yes, I said Tails as well. Tails will be in the game. Finally.
Little interlude. I did want to put Tails in SRB1 because there's a short section when he plays Knuckles, but I'm so bad at drawing Tails that I just gave up. And that's the real secret lore reason why he's not there, because I'm really bad at drawing.
You don't have any attempts, do you?
No, goodness me, no. They
the whole plot of the game is that you are making your way up this island to, of course, stop Eggman from launching the Ring satellite. That is that's the whole plot in the original. But we kind of went more in depth about, like, oh, what's the Ring satellite for? We were talking about it. It was like, oh, it's here to steal all the rings. Well, what is he going to use the rings for? Have to have rings in order to get the Chaos Emeralds, you know? We kind of put two and two together, and that's how we got that.
Oh, so he's trying to get to the special stages, essentially?
Basically, he's trying to get access to the Chaos Emeralds from getting the rings, you know?
Right.
You realize that rings unlock the Chaos Emeralds. We're trying to take your batch idea for a story, make it sound a little bit more in line with a Genesis Sonic game. Well, 32X to be honest, because that's what we're kind of aiming for, that chaotic kind of feel.
I have this wonderful visual of Eggman
trying to do a special
stage, trying to get all the rings, and tripping after like 5 steps.
Oh my god.
So, are you thinking of preserving the cutscenes at the end of each zone, like the original, or?
We're planning on it, actually. However, we're gonna go a little bit different with it and kind of look into it and, you know, write it to feel a little bit more in line with the canon characters of the. And a lot of changes, but of course it still boils down to Eggman's up to no good. Stop him. You know?
I mean, that works for like the overwhelming majority of all the Sonic games. So,
can we count on Lizzie making an appearance again?
I mean,
that is some obscure SRB1 lore right there.
I actually don't know this. I actually don't know this. Please tell me.
Okay, well, if you thought the original cutscenes like already massively cringe-inducing, there's a secret password. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
The blooper? Are you talking about the blooper reel?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I completely forgot about that.
I like how AJ is actively trying to break that signpost.
This is what game dev does to you. You just go through and you try and break your own stuff.
I love breaking my creations. The title screen, which was the title screen animation was done by FolksyWig on Twitter.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is the sort of wavy text homage to Sonic 3D Blast?
Yes, it is. I specifically wanted to pull a bit of 3D Blast with this. Not only because of the fact that I believe you've stated prior that 3D Blast was kind of like an inspiration and namesake for SRB.
That is true. I was really inspired with the game title you see, so what I did was I picked the most recent Sonic game that come out then. Oh no, actually technically that's Sonic Jam. I was originally going to call the sequel Sonic Robo Jam back in. This is the mindset you have when you're 12.
Yeah. Oh man. You know, one of the things that also kind of was a big inspiration was the idea that this game was kind of it's almost like a daydream, you know, of sorts compared to the original project. Like the daydream you have when you're making on the actual game, the actual product is like what it is, you know.
Yeah, it's like what Spazzo was touching on earlier.
Yeah, that was one thing that kind of got us. Another thing was also an attempt at kind of merging the unofficial with the official, in a sort. The unofficial being, of course, the original SRB with the something akin to something that would feel like a last hurrah for the Genesis 32X of sorts, if it wasn't 3D Blast, you know. It's also another secondary inspiration.
Well, I mean, you got permission from Sonikku to build this, so isn't this technically considered a new release of Sonic Robo Blast 1, or is this a complete offspring?
Well, we kind of got to the point where we just kind of considered it the update of sorts. It kind of became a bit of a little thing where all of us were kind of hyping up. It's like, oh, 1.4. When everything kind of hit, everyone was really excited. It really boosted morale up, and it still is kind of to this day.
Thank you for playing the
Yeah, you couldn't call it 1.5 because that already exists.
Oh,
That's true.
that is true.
You can do what I did and just add stupid letters at the end of though.
Yeah, we'll do 1.6 afterwards. How about that?
Yeah, that worked.
There you go.
The idea is that it's supposed to be a little cheeky, clever joke, because if we did SRB1 2.0, that'd be kind of... Well, first I'd have to get married.
A lot of other things have to happen first, right?
Yeah. A lot of other things have to happen first. So 1.4 is a little nod because 1.3F was the last version.
Can I just make a note that they have the 20th anniversary of Sage screen, and how hilarious would it be if you, right next to it, could put SRB 21 years? 'Cause I think it predates it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Predates Sage.
I think Sage is Sage was well, I was about to say when did it start, but then I realised I could just extrapolate backwards. Yeah. So SRB1 and 2 both predate it.
Yeah, what Sonic Robo Blast was I don't know if you kind of knew this, but your game kind of defined the fan game at the time. Unintentional or intentional. It was because of how much content was crammed into it. The fact it was a finalized piece, it kind of showed that, I guess, fan games weren't just a bunch of little knickknacks. You know, you had your Sonic Booms, your Tails, and the quest for 100 rings before that, but this was a frontier, you know, that hadn't really been completed.
I think that everything that came before it was not as close to the gameplay style as this was.
Yeah.
You know, like Sonic Boom was a shooter. I don't remember the quest for rings how the gameplay was with that.
That was like a collect smup, if I remember rightly.
Maybe.
It was like a collectathon. You just collected rings, and at the end you had to like shoot Robotnik or something.
I think it's most because shooters were really like in Click and Play. The example projects had a shooter in there, and that was a pretty good template. Whereas there wasn't really anything great for platformers.
And you have to remember too that back then we didn't have. I mean, ROM hacking was very much in its infancy, so we didn't have things like the Sonic Physics Guide and stuff like that. A lot of times people just tried to tweak things until they sort of felt that it felt right, rather than it being, you know, mathematically identical to what the original games used.
Exactly.
But I feel like this new frontier with Core Plus and what we're doing with it, it's very much a fun new experience, and I'm really excited for when people get their hands on it and try some stuff out with it, because you can do some pretty great things with it.
Well, the best of luck to you and your team. I mean, this is clearly the product of a lot of passion and dedication, both from Johnny and from the Earless team. It's just wonderful to see after all these years, you know, what we pictured as kids. I was going to make a joke earlier saying that it's like an amusement park. You have those signs that say you need to be this tall to ride the ride. We need to be this old to understand just what game design was like in the 90s, or game development or fan games. And it's just remarkable, the tools that are available to people and what we've done with them.
We had to compile both ways, uphill in the snow. You kids, you don't know what it's like.
Back in my day, it took 5 minutes to boot up Windows 95.
That's right.
I could only boot up Windows 94.
An operating system from the 90s.
It seems like SRB1 is in very good hands.
I could just say, I just want to thank you for not only this game, but also the fact that what you did back then, although you didn't know it because you're in a very young at that point. What you did was influential. It changed the game. It changed the community. And I thank you for that. I thank all of you, AJ, Johnny, Spazzo. You guys did a great job with what you did. Even if, I mean, like with SRB1, with SRB2, you did it. You did it.
I don't really think, well, first of all, thank you so much, but I don't really think you can thank us three exclusively. It's very much a pass the torch kind of thing.
Oh,
We went
yeah.
from one 13-year-old and Johnny Monday with SRB2, and it's just grown, and now there's such a huge community of people with so many abilities. And I mean, I don't even know where to start with.
I think in a lot of ways that, if it hadn't been us, it would have been somebody else. It's a matter of being in the right place at the right time, and I'm sure, if Johnny and I had not done what we did, that there would have been somebody else that would have done something, maybe not, of course, most certainly not exactly the same, but something similar to kick off a similar process. So, your mileage may vary, and, the people that are involved now kind of keep that in mind, that maybe someday there might be people down the road that look back on you and say, oh, you were, pioneers in this and blah, 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 blah. But really, you were just kind of doing what you wanted to do at the time, and, you can't see the future.
Yeah, I was about to say pretty much exactly that. We did it as a labour of love, really. There's a lot of fun, and yeah.
Yeah. That's what fan games are, the labor of love. It's just having fun with what you love. For the sake of passion.
Well, the summary is there.
Bingo. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
You bet.